With each passing week, Rick Ross keeps taking another blow in public, and more people are beginning to pay attention.
Ross, a quick Google search says that your net worth is $150 million. Is that accurate?
They said it, duh. Glory though, morning glory. What it is, Monday morning? Yeah. What we doing today? How we turning up? What new money we talking about?
Ross has just always been one of my favorite rappers ever.
I've never seen someone ice rosé, but...
You never seen someone ice rosé? Well, talk to every jeweler in Miami that has fake diamonds.
Really, they do that?
Nobody got that joke.
It's an AP that I'm rocking. This is green stones, green emeralds. It's just me having fun. That's all it is.
I am fuming. That's a fake watch. That's not a real watch.
How can you tell?
That watch was only produced twice, one in 37mm, one in 41mm. And I know both owners, and they're not Rick Ross.
Well, I guess. Real talk. I'm just
So who impresses DMX right now? Anybody?
I'm surprised you don't like Ross lyrically, man. Ross be's
He's all right, man. He just talk about eating and
you know, how much can it eat? How much weed can you smoke? Huh? Like, all right, you got a Maybach, you got the Aston Martin, okay. Good for you.
It looks like Rick Ross is going broke, okay? And he's now in damage control trying to clean things up, but it's too late. We've already seen how the boss is really getting down.
Rick Ross flew commercial this week.
Oh,
man.
Poor guy.
We ain't hired like Rick Ross in the airport neither. It's all good. Heading back to New York. Let's go next.
It didn't seem to me like he was hiding because he was taking a commercial flight. Rick Ross looked so depressed to be flying with y'all junkies.
Uncle Murder, you ain't never killed nothing. But what I want to do is give you and all your kids a free cleaning, free teeth cleaning. I know what 50 going through right now. He may not be in the mood for this, you know, Daphne Joy.
That put a wet towel over his head.
For the ones want to know where my jet at, I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia to go party with Trick Daddy. When Ricky Rose takes flights to 6 digits. I'm going to get some Monia.
The rapper who built his whole reputation around being the ultimate boss, living in luxury, and flashing endless cash, is now making headlines for reasons that completely contradict that lifestyle.
9 figures. How'd you get there?
It's called hustling nonstop. I have 25 ventures and partnerships. Just got back from Dubai. I'm going to Canada Friday. Tonight we're in the club out here in the strip club. We performing. Itself will cover all my expenses for the year. It's just that consistent nonstop balance.
You're only flying private, huh?
I told myself I would not charter a jet until I was ready to buy it. But I told myself, and I waited those 20 plus years.
Right.
And when it was time for me, it was an investment.
Also on the internet, Rick Ross is currently going viral because he was caught hiding while waiting for a commercial flight. And this is so wild framing because you could never catch me hiding while waiting for a commercial flight. You just saw me at the airport.
First came the viral moment after he took shots at Drake, and then found himself tangled in a very public clash that triggered non-stop arguments all over the internet.
Damn, white boy. Kendrick done bust you in the head before y'all even finish the publishing splits.
Then supporters spotted heavy markdowns, including half-price concert tickets, which instantly raised more doubts about his current popularity. Most recently, cameras caught him boarding a regular commercial flight with his hoodie covering his face, despite spending years claiming he owned a private jet. Naturally, everyone started asking the same thing. Is Rick Ross actually going broke? As we'll explore, the real situation might run even deeper than that. Ross argues his private jet is simply getting a major upgrade through a $500,000 Wi-Fi installation. That's supposedly the reason he was flying alongside regular passengers. There's absolutely nothing shameful about flying commercial. Millions of ordinary people do it every single day. The real issue is that Rick Ross spent years projecting an image of limitless wealth across every platform, making each unexpected moment instantly turn into a massive talking point.
Is it common knowledge that you mow your own lawn?
I think everybody in Fayetteville, they kind of know when the weather's right and they see that big tractor out there.
You are mowing, you're mowing your lawn.
Like a John Deere or something like that?
One time for John Deere.
Look at it. What kind of risk cut his own grass?
Why you out there cutting your own grass?
Got the one with the radio, the AC in it. I tinted the windows.
How many acres you mowing?
Man, I'm not even sure now. I believe close to 400. When I go out and mow the lawn, I had a homies with me too.
You trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh? The AC broken in the...
So we got a bunch of other smaller tractors. So when they see the big one out, they know that's the boss.
Dude, that's the friendship I aspire to have.
No, that's a
Call your
friendship.
homies on the weekend, like, yo, what y'all?
Yeah, let's cut the grass. No, that's some of the coolest shit ever.
Before we examine the evidence around his jet and whether his explanation actually holds up, there's another crucial piece of Rick Ross' story worth addressing. Long before landing his life-altering deal with Jay-Z, William Roberts II, widely known as Rick Ross, was a gifted football player at Albany State University, where he studied on an athletic scholarship.
To make all day, at that point, you had to be a top.
Well, some stunners out here.
A top football player in the country.
Yeah. So who's all recruiting you?
Everybody.
Plenty of rappers come from athletic backgrounds before breaking through in music. So that part alone isn't surprising. What made Rick Ross a different conversation came much later. For years, serious questions surrounded what exactly went down during the mid-1990s, and critics repeatedly noted that the details kept shifting depending on when the story was being told. One of the most persistent voices keeping those questions alive was longtime rival 50 Cent, who consistently highlighted old reports and even referenced an interview with Ross' former girlfriend. Although 50 Cent wasn't the original person to surface it, he made sure the conversation never died down.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know Rick while he was working in law enforcement?
He was a correction officer.
So we're clear he was a correctional officer?
Yes, he was.
Despite Rick Ross fighting back against those claims for years, documents that became public in 2008 revealed that he had previously worked as a correctional officer inside a Florida prison.
Recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that.
A disclosure that genuinely stunned many supporters and became one of the most discussed moments across his entire career. Everything exploded after one specific photograph appeared online. The image showed a 19-year-old William Roberts grinning while dressed in a correctional officer's uniform, and it instantly became one of the most recognized pictures connected to his name. Today, Rick Ross no longer disputes that he held that position.
By the way, too, you worked, I don't know if you want to talk about it all, because were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back, when was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old?
Yeah. You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison, because you got to go through training and all that, and I didn't last long. I may have last 4 months before they said,
yeah,
I was a little tardy.
However, he has described it as a brief chapter, claiming he frequently showed up late and only stayed for around 4 months. But official employment records have told an entirely different story. Those documents confirm that William Roberts served as a correctional officer in Miami-Dade County for approximately 18 months, not 4. They also reveal that he maintained a strong and consistent attendance record throughout that entire period. According to those same files, he was hired in December 1995 and resigned in 1997, collecting a yearly salary of roughly $26,000 before stepping away from the role. That gap between the official records and Ross' personal account has continued fueling debate for years. Drake has repeatedly brought up Rick Ross' former occupation during their exchanges, making absolutely certain fans never let go of that chapter.
Ross has just always been one of my favorite rappers ever.
For many artists, a revelation like that could have permanently destroyed their career, especially when their entire identity was built around being an untouchable street legend. But Rick Ross chose a completely different direction. After walking away from that job, everything shifted in 2006 when, as he famously described it, in roughly an hour on some good smoke, he created his breakthrough record, Hustlin'. Shortly after, he locked in a major deal with Jay-Z at just 29 years old, and his career launched almost overnight. His first album hit #1, a remarkable milestone for a debut artist, while his over-the-top persona became his defining trademark. The beard, the shades, the luxury vehicles, the enormous Miami estate, and the image of unstoppable success all clicked together flawlessly.
Slab, I'm handling some motherfucking business, homie. I hope you calling about money? What you calling about then if it ain't about no money? You know I only like to talk about money, but since I love you, what else you talking about other than money?
As Ross grew into one of rap's most towering figures, many supporters embraced the character without ever pausing to ask one straightforward question. Where did Rick Ross' story truly begin? And it turns out even his stage name has been surrounded by serious controversy. This is Freeway Ricky Ross, the well-known former drug kingpin whose story became legendary long before the rapper ever entered the spotlight. According to Freeway Ricky Ross, the Miami artist borrowed his name and lifted pieces of his public identity without any permission to help construct his own brand.
You ever seen anybody confront Rick Ross about you?
Not in person, no. Anytime I'm around, he disappears.
Like, hey, why are you running around with this dude's name when this dude's out of jail now?
Well, you know, these guys, like we talked about, when you got some money, they don't care if you be making them lick tampons. You know, everybody...
The conflict escalated so seriously that Freeway Ricky Ross filed a copyright lawsuit against him in 2010. Even with all the controversy and criticism shadowing his career, Rick Ross continued climbing because many supporters simply believed the music stood on its own. Not everyone agreed, though. DMX publicly called out Ross and made no secret of the fact that he was not a fan.
If I had to compare the two, I'd say Rick Ross was more like Biggie, Jeezy was more like Pac.
Rick Ross looks more like Biggie.
Rick Ross got lyrics, though.
Well, I guess. Real talk. I'm just
So who impresses DMX right now? Anybody?
I'm surprised you don't like Ross lyrically, man. Ross be
He's all right, man. He just talk about eating and you know, how much can it eat? How much weed can you smoke? Huh? Like, all right. You got a Maybach, you got the Aston Martin. Okay. Good for you.
Still, the momentum never stopped. Rick Ross launched Maybach Music Group, assembled a powerful roster of artists, and continued releasing successful projects. His second, third, fifth, and sixth studio albums all reached #1 on the Billboard charts, while his fourth came incredibly close, landing at #2 behind an Eminem release. His stretch at the top was simply undeniable. That level of success makes one question far more fascinating. Where did things actually begin to shift? Did fans gradually lose interest in the music, or was something far larger happening away from the cameras? Like so many defining stories in modern hip-hop, the trail eventually circles back to Drake on 5 a.m. in Toronto. Drake rapped, "The part I love most is they need me more than they hate me." And those words would end up feeling surprisingly accurate. What's ironic is that before Drake began roasting Rick Ross online and turning him into the subject of endless content, he was genuinely one of the main reasons Ross' image grew even stronger. Drake once publicly named Rick Ross as one of his favorite rappers. But today, that admiration appears completely erased, with their connection transformed beyond recognition. For more than 15 years, Drake and Ross weren't simply artists swapping features. They were one of the most reliable duos in hip-hop.
By the way, I got a lot of respect for a lot of rappers, but I got one guy. He's my favorite person to rap with on any song. His name is Rick Ross. So we're in the...
I gotta take this to the streets. One question for the coach.
What up?
Are we gonna get a Drake Rick Ross album?
We had that conversation.
Okay.
And it's most definitely under serious consideration.
Yes.
Real talk.
Their chemistry blended naturally, producing memorable tracks like Aston Martin music along with multiple standout features and massive records with DJ Khaled, whose own split with Drake has since become a massive conversation topic. Rick Ross has stacked plenty of successful records, but only one song has crossed the extraordinary milestone of 1 billion Spotify streams, and it arrived alongside Drake on the 2019 smash Money in the Grave. Their joint work has consistently dominated Ross' top streaming songs for years, proving just how much listeners loved hearing them together. The connection between the two ran so deep that rumors of a full collaborative album, reportedly titled YOLO, kept resurfacing year after year. Given that Drake had already dropped several joint projects throughout his career, a full album with Rick Ross felt like a completely natural next step. But as things stand right now, that project appears completely dead before it ever got the chance to breathe. Instead, Ross partnered with Meek Mill for a collaborative release in 2023.
Grace, we back, you dig?
Hold on, how long has this been in the works, man?
I'm gonna be honest, this just was a quick vibe, maybe 2.5 months, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 2.5 months. Now, do you guys care about album sales anymore?
Of course, this point? As a businessman, you do. That's like niggas selling Jordans.
Describing it as something that came together fast and organically. Many listeners felt that rushed energy showed clearly in the final product, especially when expectations had been sky-high a decade earlier. A Rick Ross and Meek Mill album at one point would have been expected to own the charts, but this time around, the outcome landed very differently. Despite Ross previously speaking passionately about the importance of album sales, the project became one of the weakest commercial performances of his career. Some fans even joked, "Too good to be true," had instead gone certified paper plate after the album opened with shockingly low numbers and peaked at only number 23 on the charts. On paper, that felt like the ideal moment for Ross to reconnect with Drake, who had remained the world's most streamed rapper for over a decade. Instead, everything flipped after a chain of unexpected moments in 2024. Early that year, Rick Ross appeared on a live stream alongside fellow Miami creator Aiden Ross, where he once again voiced support for Drake and spoke warmly about him.
Like one of your favorite songs with Drake?
Stay Scheming, I'm gonna say Stay Scheming.
Legendary song. Yeah, I see it. You have
Drake,
to put that
Drake came out. He came out to us. He came out in the streets. He came to us when we put that record together. It was one of those vibes.
I'm just asking you, yo, Rose, what is your true relationship with Drake?
Nah, the love is genuine, and it's been like that for close to a decade now, since he came in the game. You know what I'm saying? When Drake was just getting on the team, being in Miami, needed a record, I moved for him the same way I moved for we.
But less than 3 months later, that bond completely collapsed, turning one of hip-hop's strongest partnerships into one of its fiercest rivalries. In March 2024, Future and Metro Boomin dropped We Don't Trust You, the album that helped ignite one of the most explosive rap conflicts in recent memory. As fans recall, Kendrick Lamar appeared on the project with a verse clearly aimed at Drake, setting off a massive chain reaction across the entire hip-hop landscape. But another moment quickly seized people's attention. Just 7 songs later, Rick Ross showed up on track 13, Everyday Hustle. Given how tight Ross and Drake had been for so long, his appearance on that album immediately raised serious eyebrows. At first, some fans figured it was purely business, but the signs kept stacking up. After sharing a post showing clear support for Kendrick's diss track, Rick Ross made his stance unmistakable by unfollowing Drake on Instagram, leaving virtually no doubt that their long-standing friendship had taken a sharp and sudden turn. What initially appeared as a minor crack in their connection quickly became something impossible to overlook.
Drake, if you listening to this, homie, listen to me. My nigga, shine. I don't want to see you lose. No real nigga want to see you lose. That ain't what nigga about. This culture, this game, this rap shit, this ain't what it's about. I don't want to see you lose. When I was the #1 nigga in the rap game, I showed niggas love.
But less than 3 months later, that bond completely collapsed, turning one of hip-hop's strongest partnerships into one of its fiercest rivalries. In March 2024, Future and Metro Boomin dropped We Don't Trust You, the album that helped ignite one of the most explosive rap conflicts in recent memory. As fans recall, Kendrick Lamar appeared on the project with a verse clearly aimed at Drake, setting off a massive chain reaction across the entire hip-hop landscape. But another moment quickly seized people's attention. Just 7 songs later, Rick Ross showed up on track 13, Everyday Hustle. Given how tight Ross and Drake had been for so long, his appearance on that album immediately raised serious eyebrows. At first, some fans figured it was purely business, but the signs kept stacking up. After sharing a post showing clear support for Kendrick's diss track, Rick Ross made his stance unmistakable by unfollowing Drake on Instagram, leaving virtually no doubt that their long-standing friendship had taken a sharp and sudden turn. What initially appeared as a minor crack in their connection quickly became something impossible to overlook.
Well, I said, would you Drake? Being a hoe is when they
I would. I let them knock the Mario coins out of me.
Oh, I would.
And it's good. That ski cost the room.
The following month, Drake fired back with push-ups, addressing multiple artists at once, and Rick Ross was among the first names targeted in the record. Drake took lighthearted jabs at Ross' age while also pointing out that several of Rick Ross' biggest Billboard Top 10 entries, including I'm on One, Money in the Grave, and Lemon Pepper Freestyle, featured Drake himself. One bar also referenced Ross' past relationship with Tia Kemp, who was involved with Rick Ross from 2003 to 2007 and is the mother of one of his children. Around that same period, remarks made by Tia Kemp during a podcast spread widely across social media, drawing even more attention to the situation and giving the public another reason to keep the feud in constant discussion. As online reactions continued exploding, what had started as quiet tension quickly evolved into a full public rivalry, with every post, lyric, and interview piling on even more drama. Setting the humor aside, Drake's line on push-ups wasn't the only thing generating buzz. Around the same time, Tia Kemp commented on one of Drake's photos and Drake later dubbed her his GOAT, fans also pointed to another possible reference connected to Rick Ross' former partner, Christina Mackey. The timing had people talking immediately. Shortly after Ross unfollowed Drake on Instagram, Christina shared photos revealing VIP access to Drake's tour alongside front-row seats to one of his sold-out shows. That post spread like wildfire across social media.
Listen to me.
It's all love.
Montana done came to me and we done had conversations, nigga. Listen, we ain't on no I'm not on no disrespectful. Montana real. Ricky Rose, you know me. You know I love to be disrespectful. That's what I am. But my nigga, listen, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap, homie. This is the first time I said this, Montana with you the long way.
And countless fans immediately started connecting the pieces. Whether it was a coincidence or not, the internet generated endless theories, and the tension between Drake and Rick Ross only intensified with every new post and every fresh headline. Rick Ross didn't sit quietly for long. Shortly after Drake dropped Push-Ups, Ross entered the studio and released his own response track, Champagne Moments, complete with a music video aimed squarely at his former collaborator. Throughout the song, Ross repeated the familiar accusations about Drake relying on ghostwriters and even sampled one of Drake's speeches during the outro. He also made pointed remarks about Drake's appearance before explaining exactly why he chose to unfollow him. Ross stated, "I unfollowed you because you sent a cease and desist on French Montana. You sent the authorities and turned on my dog's project." Before adding that it wasn't the same guy he remembered when they were recording those early records together.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Me waking up from a nap, I just realized BBL Drizzy called his mommy on me. He shared their text messages between each other. Cupcake Drake, tell your mama you stayed out past your curfew, white boy.
The reported cease and desist situation has never been fully explained, which made the story even harder to follow, especially since French Montana has continued publicly displaying a friendly dynamic with Drake. Ross later described the disagreement as going, quote, deeper than rap. While the back and forth kept intensifying on Instagram, Ross posted a comment at Champagne Poppy, suggesting Drake had completely altered his physical appearance, including his nose and his midsection.
Look, I want to do Aston Martin music minus Drake vocals. So no Drake vocals.
What made you decide to tell the DJ not to play Drake's vocals on Aston Martin music?
Let's enjoy it without him. If they want it, let them sing it, and that's cool too. But yeah, my DJ minus that. Let's go.
Drake later shared a message that read, "Bobs, the internet claims you got a nose job, but you look exactly the same to me in the studio today," followed by a comment referencing Rick Ross as the person behind the rumors. The exchanges quickly became far more personal. Drake unleashed another round of posts writing that Ross had completely lost it, hadn't eaten in days, and was letting hunger make him irrational and offensive. He also mentioned Ross performing at school events for money. Drake then took another direct shot at Rick Ross' lifestyle, mocking the idea that Ross' famous waterfront mansion wasn't even legitimately his, calling it a content creator house, and poking fun at the Miami image Ross had spent years carefully constructing. Drake was clearly targeting the lavish waterfront estate, a property reportedly acquired for around $35 million. Even with all the online ammunition being exchanged, the rivalry only kept getting more bizarre. Ross publicly declared Drake's career was over, yet viewers noticed he appeared to have Drake's music playing in the background during one of his own clips.
And that old ass jet you got, they gave it to you free. That's a 1978. Be safe on that, Drizzy. Be safe on that plane. That old, God, it's great. Y'all need to pray for Drake and tell him, park that old ass plane. It's a 1978 cargo jet. People gave it to him free for promo. And I ain't hating, but be safe. If something was to happen to you and I couldn't tell you this, be safe. And anybody getting on it, be safe, man. Wear your seat belts and make sure the oxygen thing's in there, because that shit was just for luggage.
Around that same window, Ross shared what would later become an ironic post telling Drake to stay safe while traveling on Air Drake.
So, thank everybody for all the prayers, but I'm gonna tell you, we on the jet and I'm seeing the fighter jet. I see his nose, it's like Tom Cruise from Top Gun. I seen his nose, I'm seeing him in the cockpit. And I'm like, damn. I see his cheeks and nose going back from the G-force. I'm like, damn. And then, hey man, it happened.
what I'm saying? I can't say what happened, but it happened. Come on, white boy. But we safe every...
And just days later, another headline completely grabbed the internet's focus. Reports emerged that Rick Ross' private jet had been forced to make an emergency landing in Dallas. Thankfully, everyone aboard walked away unharmed, but photographs from the incident circulated rapidly online, and Drake even appeared to engage by liking one of the related posts. Ross attempted to brush it off, joking publicly that Drake had shot his jet down while also sneaking in another comment about Drake's looks. But rather than cooling the feud, the story only continued expanding. Then in July 2024, Rick Ross performed at the Ignite Music Festival in Vancouver, Canada. To close out his set, his DJ played Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us Right in Drake's home territory, a choice that immediately triggered a fierce reaction from a portion of the crowd.
I'm hustling every day. What's up? You gonna press us out in our f***ing city, nigga? What's up? Sneak me again. Back up, nigga. What's up, bro? Come on. What's up? Why you want me right now? Come on, nigga. Go.
Footage from the scene spread rapidly across social media, capturing a physical confrontation near the stage before security was forced to intervene. That moment instantly became one of the most discussed incidents of the entire feud, proving that the tension between both sides had stretched far beyond anything happening in the music itself.
These fat ass ain't throwing no blows. Man, Will, they swung on your fat. You ain't done. You stood your fat ass back, man. Your scary ass. Your big fat scary ass stood back. Looking good down from this angle.
So he raps, you get punched in the face on some TLC shit, and TLC has 3 different meanings here, so pay attention. TLC, like the wrestling event where guys are obviously getting punched and they're fighting, you gonna need a chili ice pack for your left eye. So TLC this time is referring to the iconic R&B group, 2 members from this group whose names are Chili and Left Eye. And what's also crazy, the 3rd meaning of TLC, tender, love, and care. And the backstory behind all of this, Drake is rapping about an event that took place when Rick Ross got pressed after playing Not Like Us, and he just so happened to get punched on the left side of his face.
He shouldn't have been there. That's it. The security tell me he shouldn't have been there. Yeah. Nothing about what was on that video say Rick Ross should have been here doing this right now.
Get him out of there. Someone get him to the vehicle, bro. That footage erupted across every platform, accumulating millions of views after the confrontation in Canada, with one of Rick Ross' associates seen unconscious on the ground before security finally restored order.
Just imagine if I had the chance to slap 50 Cent with this shit right here. Come get it, 50.
Rose, the history with you and 50, is it better now? You guys now friends, like you guys talk now, or is it still no relationship?
Nah, homie, Wash. We've never been cool.
From day one?
No.
This is a big business you guys are a part of. You guys are 2 of the heavyweights in the business.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
A lot of things to talk about. History, the beef.
What kind of history? That he couldn't dress? That's all I used to tell him. Yo, you can't dress. You're not really getting no money. You don't own your masters. Eminem saved you. Dr. Dre saved you. All the big names. Rose did it himself. I came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself. And I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but...
He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley hoop now. Got him one by Yama, this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does. And if he does, what does that say about him? Come on now. Just the alley hoop. Come on now. What does it say about him?
You're saying 50 lives in a 2-bedroom. He just did a big documentary on Diddy that blew up. It was the #1 documentary for like weeks.
Drake appeared to acknowledge the viral footage And 50 Cent amplified the moment further by posting, "My guess is you won't be returning to Canada anytime soon," while sharing a clip of Tia Kemp laughing at the situation.
R.I.P. to the Drake stands. Can only imagine what that feels like. Well, I really couldn't. But, damn, niggas say 3 albums are trash albums, 2 years too late. Hey, man, it was fun while it lasted. You're washed. Where's Iceman? There's Iceman. The Throat Goats.
Just 4 days later, Drake dropped his first solo record following the feud. What did I miss? And buried within the lyrics was a line that a large number of fans believe was crafted specifically with Rick Ross in mind.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
No, see, you might be, I could see it in your eyes, you might be confused. If Drake was what he thought, he would have been able to clear all this shit up, address it, and been moved on. I listened to some of it. My engineer it was horrendous. They lost an hour of their life for this shit.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Are they recovering?
Yeah, trauma.
Trauma. It's tough.
It is.
As the host of the NFR podcast highlighted, the deepest damage wasn't necessarily the diss tracks themselves. It was the way Ross' carefully constructed boss image had slowly begun crumbling in front of a live audience. For nearly 2 decades, he had maintained an untouchable persona. But now, social media was overflowing with jokes, memes, and relentless comparisons that seemed completely impossible to escape. And the pressure didn't stop there. As 2026 moved forward, Ross skipped past Drake's verse during one of his live performances while supporters waited to hear Drake's official reply on his upcoming album. That reply finally came in May 2026 on Iceman, where Drake appeared to take clear aim at several former allies, Rick Ross included. Fans were fast to highlight that a large portion of Ross' biggest streaming records featured Drake, making the online debates grow even louder. Meanwhile, Rick Ross was out promoting his Port of Miami 20th anniversary tour, but images showing large blocks of empty seats spread quickly online. Ticket deals, including buy one get one at half price, only fueled further conversation, particularly after Drake appeared to respond online once again. Then another viral wave hit when Rick Ross was photographed stepping onto a commercial flight, catching fans off guard since he had long displayed his private jet as a centerpiece of his luxury brand. Public flight records suggested the aircraft had reportedly sat inactive for several weeks, sparking widespread speculation online, though no official confirmation backed many of the theories circulating. Just days later, Drake released a music video shot right beside his own private jet, and many viewers felt the timing was far from accidental. Whether that was purely coincidental or a carefully timed move, it kept the narrative alive and placed even more strain on Rick Ross' public image. Ross later clarified that his jet was undergoing upgrades, including the installation of a premium Wi-Fi system, but by that point, most people had already drawn their own conclusions. At the same time, his long-anticipated solo album, Set in Stone, was pushed back, generating yet another wave of questions among his fanbase. Ross posted, "Iceman melted, Stone lasts eternity." But many argued that delaying the drop was actually a smart strategic call, while Drake's album kept performing strongly. Even so, calling Rick Ross broke would be a massive exaggeration. Outside of music, he has spent years constructing a business portfolio through Wingstop franchises, real estate holdings, and multiple other ventures that have reportedly built up considerable wealth. Financially, he remains in a position most artists could spend their whole careers chasing. The deeper issue isn't really about money, it's about perception. When the image that powered your entire rise begins to show cracks, restoring public confidence turns out to be far more difficult than restoring a bank balance. But what's your take? Is Rick Ross simply navigating a rough stretch, or has his larger-than-life biggest boss image finally taken damage that won't heal? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to FameX, share this with someone who needs to see it, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.